Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Origins Spotlight. As always, I am your host, B. Zelda, they, them, and I have some fantastic guests that we're going to wait 20 seconds before I introduce them. You have to admire them in all of their glory, because first off, I want to talk to you all about volunteering. We are still looking for volunteers at Origins. Don't forget that there are some amazing perks that you can get, from free badges to free parking to a party. All of that if you volunteer. So if that is interesting to you, make sure you check out origins.com to peek at our events and register there. Hotels are also up and available. You want to make sure you get a hotel if you're staying for the weekend. You are more than welcome to sleep anywhere else, but whether that's legal, yet to be determined. So make sure you get your hotel because those blocks are open. And finally, VIG tickets, very important gamer sponsored by Arcane Wonders. These are still available. The Very Important Gamer Room contains so many amazing things. It's got all the fantastic people, all the cool games. And if that is even remotely interesting to you, then you definitely want to go register for that. So again, originsgamefair.com/events. Check it out. And we have events that are up. You can't register for them yet, but you can take a look. You can see what is interesting to you, what games you want to play, what panels you want to register, what workshops there are available. Make sure you look at them, put them somewhere, because on May 21st, 1 p.m. Eastern, the event registration opens. And you do not want to miss that, especially if you've taken a look and you're like, that game I want to play, that game I want to play. Register as soon as you can, but make sure you start planning first. And with those announcements, I am going to get into our amazing guests. We have the two fantastic folks from the Authors Alcove, Marie Bilodeau and E.D.E. Bell. Hello, how are you two?
Good, thank you.
Wonderful.
So, tell me about the Authors Alcove. So for those who this might be their first year going to Origins, what can they expect?
So it's my first time going too. So
I was trying to defer to E.D.E. without having the Authors Alcove is something that I just really think is special because, you know, most of us are there because we love gaming and we love gaming fairs. They're kind of our favorite places to be. But the Authors Alcove is actually focused on our writing and sharing that with the guests in a little bit of a different. So there's gaming and there's, you know, vendors. And in our case, you can come by and meet authors. You can hear about their works. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about the anthology, but everybody has a story. So it's you know, a whole group of authors that are there just to talk to you and meet you and say hello.
That's incredible. And now this is something that's happened for a few years at Origins now. Like, how long have you been involved with that?
I'm actually, Marie's new and I'm relatively new to it. I was there this fall and our small press has been on the edges of it. And, you know, I was and now I'm the editor. So there you go.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh. How was your first year's experience? It was this year because time is weird, but yeah, how was it?
Well, it was wonderful. And it was a little difficult, not in a bad way, because things had to happen very, very quickly because of the schedule. And we all know what's been going on. And so we had about a month to put this together. Yeah, but fear not. You know, when I light the fire, I light the fire. And it's wonderful. Everything about it. It was absolutely just an honor and a joy to work with these authors, some of whom, you know, I'm just meeting and some of whom I've admired for a very long time, to see what they would write to this theme. Yeah, it's just, I'm so excited for people to read the stories.
Heck yes. Now, you did mention the anthology. What exactly is that?
So it's and we're going to talk, Marie's going to add a lot of content on the writing and some other things, but the anthology itself is a collection of short stories, all on a theme, each written by each of the authors that are participating in the Authors Alcove. And the theme this year matches the Origins theme about, you know, art and gaming. And so this theme is called Rogue Artists. You know, not just art, but art to subvert, to lift, to change, right? And in these days, in this world, we don't talk about it here, but we know what's going on in so many aspects of our life and our world. And art has a place in that, not just joy, not just comfort, but change, but conversation, subversion. And so I especially with this guest of honor, right? Which I believe you talked to Kat on one of the shows, Kat Rambo.
Yes, they are
I want
so
to see what Kat Rambo does with
cool.
this. Honestly, I won't even lie about it. I was like, I want to see what Kat Rambo does with this theme because it will be amazing. And all the authors are different, which is what makes it so special. You know, Marie and myself, everyone has a very different style, a different background. So what would each of those authors do with that theme? What speculative fiction story, what character would they deliver to you? And what would that character do? So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So if I was somebody going to Origins and I came across the Rogue Artists anthology, can I buy that?
At the fair. And it has a signature page.
Oh my gosh.
You can take it around the alcove specifically to those authors. No charge for signature. Just take the book around and people are happy to sign it to you, to introduce themselves. They'll have their own books if you're interested. It's just really a unique opportunity. I've been to other author events, of course, and game fairs and conventions, but I've never seen anything this. It's very intimate. It's very personal, very accessible. Everyone's friendly. So you can get the book there and you can take it around and
awesome. How many authors are involved with this?
17.
Dang.
Yeah. There's
That's
17
incredible.
stories by 17 authors. 2 of them who are here, and then the guest of honor, Kat Rambo, and then the other stories as well.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible. So now I'm going to direct a little bit to Marie. What was writing this like? Was this your first time participating in an anthology like this as well?
I've been in a few anthologies, so I've been quite lucky. And I've had a few stories out here and there. For this one, the Origins Anthology was funny because I was actually in the last Origins Anthology for last year, but I didn't make Origins because I'm in Canada, so I couldn't even cross the border at the time. Right? We were stuck, so I didn't make it, but I enjoyed the experience. And of course, it was with a different editor then. So then I got to experience with Emily's style as well, which was a lot of fun. And that's what's fun about writing for anthologies too, is that you get to write for a specific editor, right? You get to target an editor that you love, and each editor has a different style, a different thing that sings to them, a different way of broaching the authors, and so it's fun to experience. As you can imagine, Emily was a lot of fun to work with, so it's a beautiful anthology.
Oh, that's excellent. Were there any challenges that you faced while trying to write with that very specific topic, or was it something that immediately spoke to your heart?
It immediately spoke to my heart because rogue artist, but then I realized I've been playing a rogue in D&D, and I was like, no, we wanted to not stab everyone. So I originally started with like a certain story, and I usually do this whenever I'm crafting a story for a specific theme, especially. So I'll start off with like, okay, I'm visualizing it like that, and then I'll write like half the story. I'm like, no, throw it off, and then I'll start something else, and I'm visualizing this, and this one took about 4 attempts.
Wow.
And then when it hit, it was the idea. The subversiveness of the art in my particular story was about what happens when something breaks. It's called Fractured. And what happens when something breaks a piece of art, a person even, and how does the piecing back together, and what does it look like? What happens during that reassembly, if you will? So it's basically a retelling of a fairy tale, of 2 fairy tales, but in it's fractured. It is what it says on the box.
Yeah.
And it was fun once I got into it. And then I wrote to Emily and I'm like, okay, I don't know if this makes sense. So let me know if you want to see it, or I can send you something that makes sense. She's like, no, send it to me. And then she informed me that I made sense, which,
good. That's validating.
It is. I like making sense. That's usually what I try to go for. Usually.
That's so fascinating. So, Emily, then you're receiving all of these different iterations of the same topic. Has that been difficult to try and make sure that main theme is connected, or do you leave it ambiguous enough that they can really interpret it as loosely as they want?
Yeah, I love that. I want some anthologies can, there's different people like them for different reasons. Some want to, some love that. Some, if they want, a romance anthology, and they want a specific, they want to have similar stories because that's what they enjoy. So it's a different thing if you're going to a book because you want that type of story and you want to experience it from different authors. or a fantasy anthology where you know the type of fantasy and you just want to experience that from different authors. But in this case, this is about experiencing the authors, about meeting these people in person, seeing what they're like, what, how, getting their vibe and saying, what would this person do with this theme? And the takes are very different. And I love that. There's really no two stories of the 17 are, I would say, remotely similar. Dang. We have this fairy tale subversion, and Marie is lovely and humble. And I read that story. First of all, when Marie's like, "Do you want like a boring one or this one?" That I'm like, "No, the one you're worried about." Yes. Like, yes. And when I read it, I had to message one of my writer friends and just I said, I literally said, I just cannot exist anymore after reading this story. And it was like, which story? And I was like, Marie's. I'm like, how do I function on the planet after knowing this piece of art was created and I get to be associated with it? Because it's that good. It really, really is. Because, when you give artists and I believe that writing is art very much so.
Yes.
Like gaming and storytelling are art as well, and game writing and all those aspects. When you give an artist freedom and say, be you, show us you. Yeah, little guidelines to say, it's our runway for the night is rogue artists, but like, what are you going to do with it? So,
that's incredible.
It is, and they're so different. And there's science fiction and fantasy and mystery, and I would say poetry and intrigue, and some working through these times in a very meaningful way. And I'd love to hear more from Marie about the writing process. But one thing that maybe we could get to at some point is something new for this year's anthology is that, and this is kind of, talk about working with different editors. This is something that I do, is sensitivity reading and content notes.
Is this the first time that we're doing that at Origins?
I don't know if I should say that, but it is, yes.
Oh, okay. No, that's fascinating. That's room for growth, though. Like, I'm happy that we're doing it now. It's unfortunate it wasn't done before, but that means that we're doing better and we're willing to grow. So that's good.
It's nothing. The history of it comes from a traditional background. It's a group of authors that know each other. They know each other's type of writing. I think that people who read a Cat Rambo story sort of know what they're getting, but especially in an anthology, which can be a lot, in a good way. But when people are reading an anthology, especially, they don't want to be. And our small press has a lot. We were brought in, and one of the first things I said, to be very honest, was, okay, but I'm not just putting my name on a book. If you want us, you get us, and you get what I do, and you get our press. And it was very, wonderful to hear. No, we do want that. We want you and your press and your vision and your, particular sensitivities. So we have a lot of readers with trauma. We have a lot of queer readers. We have a lot of disabled readers. We have a lot of readers who, life has been hard these last few years. If you had a specific death in your family, maybe you don't want to read a story about a death in so we have, specific content notes for each story that you don't have to look at, but if you want to look at, you can say, oh, that's not, not a story I can process right now.
That is incredible. I do some sensitivity reading for a couple of the Wizards of the D&D books that we do for organized events, and sensitivity reading and consultation should be the norm in every industry. And we are taking the steps to go towards making this the norm. So I think it's incredible the work that you've done to integrate that. And the fact that it wasn't difficult at all, that, Origins was like, yes, we hadn't thought of that before. Now you're presenting this idea to us. We'll take it because it's incredible and it keeps people safe. And it keeps you cognizant of the content that you're going to encounter. Do you get to utilize like that in other aspects of your work?
I can answer. Marie, do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, I can. For me, I do use it sometimes in other with certain stories, especially when I step outside my what I would know more personally. So like just outside the lane, if you will, I guess would be the correct term. Yeah. So I have used them here and there when accessible. One of the things that happened with COVID, of course, was a lot of burnout. So then you're like, how do I reach out? So, but it's also an interesting study, right? Because it doesn't mean that if you can't get the right sensitivity read and you're not quite sure that you've captured the correct vibe and you don't want to insult anyone, it doesn't mean that you can just work harder at writing something original in your lane, whatever that is, right? Like I don't find it stifling personally. I find it it pushes me to be better at what I can do with what I know. And then if stepping way outside where I'm like, I need someone to read this to make sure I'm not insulting, I'm not misrepresenting, that I'm being respectful. Then if I can't find that person, then, something can come back later on. But I have done it. And I think it's a wonderful tool and resource. It's amazing. And how the insights you can get to things that you hadn't thought about, it deepens the layers of story. Like some writers will almost, just from chatting here and there, we'll see it as more of a like, oh, this is an extra step. This is, an extra, but it deepens the story so much. It adds to the depth, to the layering. Like it just makes it so much better. It makes it shine. So I think it's a wonderful tool in any writer's toolbox. So thank you to people like you for doing things like that. That's amazing.
Seriously, more of this. Now, E.D.E, what have your experiences been with sensitivity consultation or content warnings in the work that you do?
Well, honestly, it's very important to me. And a lot of it is because of my background, which I don't really want to get into, but I certainly do not come from a place of perfection. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. My, upbringing, my experiences, I have, like many of us, grown and learned so tremendously much over the years. And that's something that I could build on what Marie said about lanes are important. And that's a different discussion. I mean, it's not different, but the lanes discussion is not the same discussion even as the sensitivity. Those are two equally important discussions. A lot of people think that if you are, writing something that is authentic and that you're experienced with, then that means that you don't need sensitivity review. And that's not true at all.
Interesting.
Everybody needs sensitivity review. Marginalized people writing about marginalized experiences need to, because many of us, whatever our experiences, there's two aspects to it, more than two, but two of them are one, we don't know what we're saying that could
trigger
bother someone else. Maybe in our experience, we just always say this word. We always say this phrase. And somebody else says, do you know that hurts me? And say, oh, I didn't know that. And then there's the other piece, which is our own internalized issues. Mm-hmm. It's to say that you couldn't write something harmful about something and that's just not the case. I know so many people that whatever their own particular experience or expertise, write something almost negative about who they are because it's been internalized in their mind for so long that it takes an outside person even to ask the question, say, this isn't my experience, but did you mean to say this? It sounds sort of negative. Yeah. And the person will say, I've never considered that, I guess, or that's this voice in my head, or this was my old teacher, or
negative self-talk. Most people, that's our default voice,
And people think of sensitivity and content notes as good or bad, and it's not what it is. Mm-hmm. Like a content note, like I said, for death of parent, that's not a bad thing.
No,
parent is, but not the story.
Oh, yes.
The story could be the most wonderful story that you need in your soul, but it should be your choice whether that's something that you want to read or not.
Exactly.
Talking about, racism is not bad in a story if it is appropriate and intentional and meaningful, and it's there for a reason and for a good reason and in the right people writing it. It's more about, it's not a good or a bad thing. It's, am I being thoughtful in my writing? Am I unintentionally hurting someone? And so that is something that we've put a lot of effort into. And I hope that's reflected in this collection, because, all the stories were reviewed, all the authors were open and very, sometimes you say, did you mean to say this phrase? Have you thought about what it means in the context of your story? And they just, I can quote one of the authors I really admire, Cameron Hurley, said something to that effect, which was talking about sometimes you just write what's in your head and what you're used to saying. And when an editor says this phrase is, maybe a bit problematic, usually when you change it, it's better. When you think through it and say, what would I say in it? Especially in like second world sci-fi or fantasy, what would these people actually say? It's usually better or funnier or more interesting than whatever was programmed in 20 years ago that you've heard or whatever. So yeah, I hope people enjoy that aspect, and I hope that it makes the book more accessible to people. I know I have very severe PTSD, and there's a lot of books that I want to read, but I can't, I'm too scared to read. Like, I don't know. It's like, can somebody read it and tell me if I can read it?
Yeah.
So just the ability to look in the back of the book and say, okay, I think I can read these. And just to be clear, the anthology is adult and teen friendly.
Okay.
The content is family friendly, teen friendly for the convention. But there might be, that's where it comes back to not good and bad, but specific. There might be a specific thing. There is a COVID story in the book. It's beautiful. And you may not want to read that right now.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
I hecking love that inclusion. So, and it's at the back of the book. It's not like, right, like before the chapter, we won't have like a
right. I don't like to put them in front because they can be spoilers.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that say, so it's a teen-friendly book. There's nothing you're going to get me with in a teen-friendly book. I'm not worried about it. And they don't want to know what happens, or they don't want to know there's a death because, you
ruined it.
I don't want to know anything. I just want to read the story. So you have that choice.
That's so smart. Because I was just going to ask, like, how do you engage with folks that often would push back on that idea? Because safety tools and content warnings in the tabletop space, which is where I spend most of my time, there's a little bit of pushback because people are like, I don't want spoilers. I don't want to know what's going to happen. But so I love that you've put it at the back of the book for those who are interested, who do want a heads up because maybe they're feeling a little bit fragile that day. And I don't want to engage with this content, but I've picked up this book and I'm really excited to read it. So you have that at the back. That is so smart. I'm going to start telling that to people.
We love when good ideas are shared. That's what I love. And I would love to hear Marie's thoughts on this as well. Writers and small presses, and we need each other. We are such a community, like gaming and like, where all these overlapping communities actually, writing and gaming are quite overlapping.
Yes.
We really need each other and we share each other's ideas and we love to give and to say, this helped me. Could it help you? Mm-hmm. And that's something that I think is relevant to this Origins event is that feeling of community. You have this alcove of authors that, start by meeting each other and, pretty much usually become friends, become, different types of friends. And sometimes just, I admire your writing. Sometimes I connect with your writing. Sometimes let's talk, the community aspect is so important to gaming, so important to writing, so important to this book. Marie, I don't know if you have anything to say on that idea of community, but that's something that's, really important to me. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, community as a whole, I think for me, my growth as a writer has grown along with my community.
Yes.
And like, it makes such a difference. I'm the organizer here of a much smaller than Origins CanCon in Ottawa. And it's part of that giving back to community too, that I think a lot of people like to do when they're part of the writing world. There's a lot of give back, because I think every writer understands that you take, you give, and sometimes it's not always like organizing something or editing an amazing anthology for an amazing convention, but sometimes it's about answering someone's a new writer's question. It's about supporting an author who's going through a tougher thing. It's about pre-ordering a friend's book, right? Like that support that comes with it. And that's what I like about the Alcove. Again, I've never been to Origins. It's my first time. I'm super excited. Come say hi. But what I love about it too is all of the writers who are there. I know a lot of them. Some of them I've never met. Like Jennifer Brozek and I have been friends for like a long time online. We've never met in person. I'm so excited. But they're from all walks of the writing life too, right? Like you've got some indie published, you've got small presses, you've got big four now, I believe. And it's amazing to see that we all get to come together, share our voices in a wonderful anthology, and then share our voices with writers at Origins as well, and sell books and just meet cool people. And so that community that's formed there as well, when it's from all walks of life, all walks of the writing and creative life, I think that lends it extra strength, definitely. So I am very excited to add this little special community even more to my own, because it can only help.
I love that a lot. So your gaming or your communities in general, did it originally start off as CanCon? Was that like your first convention where you got to meet like a lot of the like-minded people in person?
It's funny because it's not. CanCon is in Ottawa. It's my local one, but it didn't start again until 2010, where I was their guest of honor. But I met thank you. I met my writing group in 2008 at World Fantasy in Calgary. And I met these Ottawa-based writers in Calgary. I had no idea. There was really nothing that I was aware of anyways in Ottawa. So I hadn't met these people. So we called ourselves the East Block Irregulars. We formed the writing group. And then, a reading series spawned from us. Eventually me and Derek Kunkskin, another member, we took over, not like in a hostile kind of way, but took over CanCon eventually. Yeah, like a gentle, this is the natural progression of things. Everybody's happy. direction and all that, CanCon, and then the Ottawa community just sort of grew from there. So I'm lucky that I have that in my city. And that's one of the reasons we have it, because I had to go to Calgary to meet my people who are Ottawa based. So that's one of the reasons.
Outrageous. Ottawa's one of our biggest, it's the capital, it's why don't we have more content there? That's so cool though.
I know. We're cool now. We have a lot of good active writing groups, a lot of like cool people, and people from Toronto and Montreal and all over the country and the States come to CanCon too. So, but we wanted that, right? We bring in editors, we bring in publishers so that the Ottawa crowd doesn't need to go away to meet industry people, to learn about the industry, to meet other writers. Like cons are important for that, I find. That's where you meet your people.
Absolutely. Do you find that there's been any barriers for you not being able to go out to as many cons, particularly maybe in like the US?
You definitely see a difference in like the contacts, right? Because I'm lucky because I game. Gaming is a great way to meet people too. Yes. I game with a bunch of really cool editors and authors. Like I mentioned, Jen Brozek, who's amazing. So I'm very lucky because I have those contacts. So I feel like I've still got my pulse on the industry, and I've got a lot of like in my writing group, you have Kate Hartfield, you have Derek Kunkskin, like you have some very cool people. Julie Trinata is in FAR, Kevin Earn, like we've got some really cool supportive people in the area. But yeah, I find that when you get to the bigger cons, especially, and those are mostly the US cons because we're not that many. I mean, Canada
is small. I hate to admit it, but we're small.
We're
big in space, small in people.
Exactly. So you don't get those big like moments with all the American people as well, the editors, the publishers and all that. So it is nice to be able to get down there and meet a whole different whackload of people there as well. So that will be fun. And to make friends too, right? I find some writers, and that's one of the things we see for CanCon, some writers will go like with a checklist of like, I have to talk to an editor and I have to pitch my thing and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, go trying to make friends. That will take you far. Be an awesome person, which you are. Just be that person. And it takes people far because people like helping people they like at the end. Yeah.
Oh my God. Community and just like being able to meet the community and the folks that you've made friends with in person is so game changing. And that's another reason I'm really looking forward to this Origins. And there's also going to be a couple of events like panels. Will there be any panels for the Authors Alcove? Like any authors that'll be speaking about their works or their experiences?
Yeah, there is a whole program. Yeah, there is a whole program being developed. Emily, I don't know if you have a log line for this one, but we do have something being developed. There's a lot of cool panels that are going to be coming up. I've seen them. I think they're super cool.
And then we all contributed to topics we wanted to talk about and things that we thought we had to share. And I would like to say, to kind of build on something Marie said earlier about the diversity of the authors. And I mean, and I specifically mean the diversity of their professional experience. Mm-hmm. It is really, to me, very wonderful because there's people that are local, there's people that come in from afar, and to have a panel where you have indie authors and small press people and self-published authors and traditional or big pub authors and people that do tie-in writing and people that do their own second world writing and short story writers and all those to address a similar topic. I just really love hearing the different. I mean, I want to be on the panel because I want to listen to the other panelists' perspectives. So I'm always like, I wonder what they'll say on this. It's so interesting.
Will you be hosting or attending any panels this Origins, E.D.E?
The authors will all be, to my knowledge, on multiple panels. Yes.
Ooh.
And the schedule I'm sure will be posted, and you can look at all of the different topics, and they are not just for writers, they're for readers, they're for fans, they're for people that are just, there's a lot of relevance to tie in with gaming and game writing and that sort of thing. So there should be topics really for everybody that they would be interested in. So I would encourage people to look that up and see more of our faces, but also other wonderful faces, guest of honor Kat Rambo and Carlos Hernandez and all these, C.S.E. Cooney and all these just amazing writers. So,
oh my gosh, there's so much to look forward to this Origins. I can't even. Like, Marie, you're going to have the time of your life. If you're not entirely busy with the Authors Alcove, if you have time to wander around, it's just going to be incredible. But I think folks will keep you pretty busy there.
That's good. I want to be busy. Keep me out of trouble. Otherwise, it's going to be, nobody's ready for this. No,
I just don't have money to buy dice. So I need to be kept in the alcove at all costs.
It's so hard. How do you not buy dice?
My dice bag is full. I don't know. Oh,
I have loose dice all around me. I don't have a
sparkly dice and there's new games and so many wonderful. I always walk through the exhibitors area and say hi to the people I know, and it's just because we're all friends. I mean, in different ways. And I mean, I actually mean all of us, like we were talking about. I'm sorry, not sorry that I talk about community a lot.
You're golden.
But, yeah, it's so important. We're all connected in all these ways, and there's reasons that we come to things like gaming and writing and reading, right, and fandoms. There's reasons we're here, and we share a lot of those reasons, and we share that sense of caring about each other and seeing each other. To me, that's we see each other. Say, hey, and for me, that's what a game fair and an author's alcove. We can talk about books and panels, but it's about us and how much it's difficult, but how much have we missed that? How much have we needed that, connection?
Much. I haven't done anything in the past 2 years just because of the world and because of the country that I'm in. I haven't been able to leave, and it's been so hard, especially even seeing all of my friends going to conventions. I think there was like a PAX recently, and like I really want to do it, but like I have my very specific conventions that I'm going to go to. I'm going to make sure I don't leave the house for a week, so when I go, everything's going to be fine. But it's just been harder to make these travels accessible again, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody because my heart and my soul needs that.
Yeah, I want to walk past a table and see people intense on their game and someone stand up and go, and what is going on over there?
Threaten to flip the table. I want that. I want that so badly.
Sit down and
throw their meeples. Yeah, please don't throw meeples, everybody.
Two people that haven't seen each other since 2019,
across the room as they scream and shout at each other to embrace.
And all of it. Like, it's just going to be so fun. I'm so happy Marie's going to be there. I'm so happy everybody's going to be there.
I can't wait. Yeah, first one for me too in 2 years, and I'm just excited to get that energy, that buzz of energy you get from having life and people and people excited in the same kind of cool stuff as you. Yeah. Yes, I love that.
People
I cannot
see
wait.
You is how I think of it. People that see
that.
Non-strictly visual
feeling.
Yes. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah,
no, genuinely. So for this convention, there's quite a few things that are going on. Are there any board games or tabletop games that you think, if you have time, you would stop and try and play? This question goes for both of you. I mean, Marie, I know you're at a table, you're playing D&D right now. Mm-hmm. Do D&D one-shots appeal to you? Would you ever bring your rogue for like a one-shot with some strangers?
Oh, yeah. She'd love to stab people for people. I also have bars. I would totally do that. And yeah, any tabletop, whether it would be RPG or just like, I'm like easy to be. Even if someone like is there and says, Marie, you have to come play this. By all means, come and tell me what I should like check out, because I love discovering new things and meeting new people that way too. I just love the experience of gaming with people. It's fun.
I love people's passion over, especially when that's something that they know and they want to share that with you. The passion and joy in which they're vehemently trying to get you to play that. I love that. And that's going to be so much of Origins.
I love that. Oh, I can't wait. And watching other people wait too, right?
Right.
I don't know if you've been showing the cover, but either if you have or when you do, I actually have a gaming related story that is one of those, like, the world works in such strange ways.
I love that. So we can get the cover up. I think that's
I wasn't trying to push it. I just didn't know if it's,
this is how we talk out loud.
It was my best answer to your question was related to the cover.
Oh, I love that.
That's a good answer.
So should I go ahead and tell the story about it?
Please.
Okay. So one of the issues we all know about the pandemic and the time constraints, and last fall one of the issues was that there wasn't quite the time to I'll just say it because I think it worked out perfectly. Commission a brand new cover with the theme, and we had a month just for even the writing, and it just wasn't going to happen. And we were so lucky to have access to this amazing artist, Charles Urbach, who's done covers in the past. And there were some options that we could look through and see what fit this and what would be just beautiful. And it is my favorite family board game. It was an independent. I'm actually in the little small thanks of the Kickstarter, thanks to our backers from years and years ago. The artwork is actually a card in my family's favorite game, which was an indie game a while back called Noble Treachery by Great Northern Games. And if you've ever played Noble Treachery, if you haven't, it's so good. The tome card is actually this image. And I'm just going to say that because I think it's just wonderful. I think it's one of those, the world is so small. And so it's like it brought it to me. It's like, Emily, would you like this cover to be from your favorite game? And I'm like, yeah.
Talk about a dream come
David's
true.
home. And it's so beautiful, and the art is so gorgeous, and it brings me like an extra level of warmth that not only was I invited to do this amazing project, but that there is almost like a familiarity, like a comfort in, you know, seeing a card that I was so familiar with. I just thought that was, you know, I don't know, interesting.
That's incredible. And I just looked up the game on boardgamegeek.com. Oh my God. The art is so cool. I mean, it's reflective in what we see on the cover, but dang.
Yeah, and it's by a whole lot of different artists. It's a little bit older game, and, you know, but it was very fun design. We enjoyed it, but it's just such a strange thing these years later to see one of those images and say, would you like this for your cover? And I'm like, that, yes. Very much like that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It just turned out so pretty, and
it's the right kind of vibe.
Black covers and the sleekness and the font. I don't know if people can see it, but I'm in love with it. I admit it.
We've got a couple people looking that up now. Is the cover available as a poster? Or somebody's asking that in chat.
The artist, but I do believe he sells prints. I had heard that. I'm not speaking for him, but I had heard that he often sells prints, including of that particular piece. So that'd be something that we should, you know, find out, because it's just so beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, for those who want this as a poster, I mean, maybe buy the book first, buy the anthology, and then if your heart still really wants that cover, reach out to the artist. And most of the time, artists are pretty accommodating.
Yeah.
That's so heckin' good. Well, what else are you two looking forward to at Origins then?
I'm looking forward to getting
I gotta
we're both excited. I'm looking forward to getting lost. Like, it sounds weird, but you get lost in a venue. This is huge, and I'm great at getting lost. It's like I'm a professional person who gets lost, and I'm looking forward because that's when you find like really interesting people and meet see weird things, and then stumble upon cool games where people are again flipping tables or whatever. Again, don't do that, but I love that moment of feeling outside your element. Because I feel like I spend so much time inside my element now because it's been pandemic, so we're safe. But this is different. It's my first trip to the States in a while, since Confusion 2020, I believe, in Detroit, January 2020. So yeah, I think so. I think that's the last time. So yeah, so it's been a while. So I'm going to be traveling, seeing cool people.
You were there.
I know. I didn't know you were there either.
Same place and didn't even know.
Missed connections.
So
yeah.
Now, but we're here now. We're live on TV talking for the first time.
I know, it's exciting. It's gonna be so
everybody should do it. Everybody should just get together, meet on live TV. Nothing will go wrong.
No.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking. I told you about the community scene. I just want to see people that I miss, and it's going to be wonderful. And I'm bringing my kid, and I'm excited to show them the game fair, because I think they're going to really love it, and I think they're going to love meeting all these wonderful authors and touring the alcove and seeing the panels. And so I admit, the mom side of me is very excited to share that. So.
Oh, that's so cute. Do they, are they like a video gamer, tabletop gamer, board gamer? Because we're going to have all of that at Origins.
Yeah, a little bit of all. So,
so good. So good.
And a very serious skateboarder, but that might not be at the fair.
There might be a tabletop game about skateboarding. Who knows? Maybe an indie film about skateboarding. We'll have some indie films going on as well during the convention. There's just something for everybody, like hands down.
So cool.
Oh, heck.
Can I ask Marie one little thing, though, really quick? It's just silly. So Marie was on stream I did not pre. This is meeting live on TV. This is what happened.
I love it.
Marie was talking about rolling R's, and there was a whole conversation on a different stream about who rolled R's in various ways. And I just wanted to know, are we allowed to say the title that way when we're at the fair? Even like a lot of the time, like rogue artists? Can it be said in English? Should we just pretend that's an English thing and be like, would you like to read this book? It's called Rogue Artists,
Yes, but I think you have to push up the artist, like rogue artiste.
Rogue artiste.
Rogue artiste. I can't. Yes. Sorry, I ruined it by copying. Never listen to me. Marie, say it again. Cleanse the world of that.
No, you're serious. You was good. Are you kidding? That was like.
You so come to the Authors Alcove and ask us to give us our most sultry versions of this book. I'm not doing it. I can't.
No, you were so close. Rogue artists.
Oh, that's beautiful. Don't forget the flourish. Rogue artiste.
We'll have our dagger at our side. And you know what? I will say, these authors, they do disappoint occasionally, and nobody went. Someone went very close. That person knows who they are, but no one went right on the nose with a rogue character.
That's so funny.
There was someone that was. I got a roguish story, and he knows who he is. But yes, I was waiting for someone to just take it and be like, "Oh, you want a rogue artist? Here's my stab." But
Literal, yeah.
I write in your blood on the wall.
Yes,
that's a story I'll read. I'm already here for this. Oh, goodness. Well, I have a couple of questions that I often ask my interviewees before the end of our show. But before I do that, is there anything that you two would like to promote? Any of your own work? How can people find and support you? How can we give us your money to make you make more work? Marie.
Well, I've got the latest thing that I've got come out was an epic fantasy trilogy, which is a re-release from my first trilogy. I got the rights back, so it's gorgeous. I don't have a copy that I can grab beside me, but it's called The Heirs of a Broken Land trilogy, and I do have. If you do like rogues, I have the Guild of Shadows. See, this one is here, and this is based actually on a D&D campaign. It's not at all D&D. It's not like it's urban fantasy, but it's based on my rogue character from a D&D campaign. So,
that is so cool.
And it's taking the ideas of the changelings, which is like, when they would take the children away in their bassinet, and then the humans would wake up and it would be an ugly, deformed child, obviously a changeling. So this is basically do that at a mass scale where 1% of the population of babies around the world, that happens overnight, and alien babies are left in their place. Not full-grown humans who can explain to you what happened, but alien creatures. So she's one of them. Her name is Tiramisu. She's sweet. So that's fun too. So if you like that, it's called the Guild of Shadows, and find me online on Twitter under my name, Facebook, and then you have my website, which has all of my books, or any store where you buy them. And you can reach out to, friend me, follow me. It's all good. I love meeting people. Come say hi at Origins. I'll have copies of the books.
Yes. Oh, that is so exciting. Also, the name Tiramisu. If I was a drag queen, that would be my name. I'm just saying. Right? That's amazing.
The best part about that name, too, is I had it for it was a long-term campaign. We just closed it actually on Sunday, so I'm a little bit sad, but it was about 3 years. And for the longest time, it was Tira. And then the DM would say Ms. Misu when some people were addressing her. And then after a year, one of the players kind of leans over at me and goes, "Your name is Tiramisu."
They just got it. Oh my God, I live for that person.
Yeah, always that one. Wait a second.
I'm usually that person, so that's why they're my favorite.
They're the only one who got it. They're the ones who got it first. Nobody else had gotten it.
Dang.
That's the kind of D&D group I like. Nobody's upping the game too much here. We're all just chilling. It's good. So yeah, anyways, it was fun. So that's Tiramisu. That's her life. Yeah.
That is so cool. E.D.E, where can we find and support you and maybe throw some money at you?
I will not pretend. We need money thrown at us. And it's not that I'm endorsing the capitalism, but this pandemic with a small press, it has been difficult. And we have a lot of it is a big wave happening right now because of those same problems and issues. And so we have so much going on right now. Our both my website and the small press website have all of our social media links. So that's Athis Arts, ATTHISARTS.com, and then EDEBell.com have the links. But I will really quickly go over, I just cannot be prouder of the work we're doing with the small press. Just this spring, just this winter, we had an audiobook come out for The Dragon of Anis, which is a queer fairy tale for all ages about acceptance and about friends. And that was recorded in a very, very fun audiobook. We have Aliatera, Stories from the Dragon Realm, which is 3 all ages fairy tales about queer acceptance and loving yourself. Not just different identities, but whoever you are, you're right. You're right. And it's so beautiful. It's by Ava Kelly and illustrated gorgeously by Michigan illustrator Matthew Spencer. And we have an amazing blurb from Bogie Tokach that I can't even with still. I'm just I can't believe we have that blurb. And then we have, and this is what do I have? We have a spec-fic, multi-genre spec-fic novella set in Delhi, India, called One Arm Shorter Than the Other by Gigi Ganguly, and it is so good, and it's just pleasant, and it's like a very, it's uncanny. I really wish people would check that out because it's that good. In terms of some people say it's different than what I've read, and I said, well, how much South Asian spec have you read? I don't know.
They're probably like 0. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so check it out. And then I have my own book. Obviously, there's Rogue Artists is coming out. My own book, Night Ivy, is the first in my new world. I'm very proud of Zelenor and her journeys. It's gentle, it's fun, it's wandering, it's biconic, as I say.
Oh my God,
I'm very
that's
proud of it. And then there is Greyshade by, also in this anthology, Gregory A. Wilson. It's an assassin book, dark, gritty, about defiance and shifting loyalties. And it's very exciting. And that's coming out at the end of next month. And then I hope I am not forgetting anything, but I will say that Marie would know that I'm actually hoping to go to CanCon myself because this fall, you can't throw money at this yet, but you will. We're having Catalyst by Brandon Crilly is going to be coming out. It is so good. It is so good. It's so good. And it is a fantasy, and I have not yet thought through how to give the quick description, but it's a wonderful, immersive, very, very character-rich and action-rich fantasy that I think people are really, really going to like. And if I forgot something, I apologize, but all these things are listed on I have like a Twitter thread on, the Twitter Authors Arts and on our website. And I would really hope that people would check it out because we're very proud of the work that's going on. So.
Oh my goodness, that is incredible. Y'all are involved in so many fantastic projects. And for those who are watching, if that is interesting to you, which it absolutely should be, make sure you check out and support the work that they do. All right. Are you ready for some rapid fire questions? They're all going to be Origins convention related or convention general.
Okay. I got this. This is fine.
Marie.
I didn't know there was a test. Okay, go ahead.
You better get 10 out of 10.
Oh, no.
We'll revoke your badge and give it away to somebody else. No,
that's what happened last time.
Right? Wait, that was too real. I'm sorry. What was the first convention that you've ever attended?
I think it was World Fantasy in Calgary.
That was the one.
I think
love
so.
That.
Yeah.
E.D.E, what was the first convention you ever attended?
In the modern times, I did something like, I'm not going to remember back to my ancient days, but the first in this realm was the Great Lakes Comic-Con in Warren, Michigan. And I love that con. It's run by a wonderful family, and I have an incredible soft spot for it.
Oh, that one's pretty close to me. I might have to check it out in the upcoming years. Favorite board game, Marie?
I'm going to go with House on Haunted Hill right now.
Nice.
Although Hero Quest is like always a favorite, but I've been playing House on Haunted Hill. Haunt me, let me murder my friends if I get haunted. It's great.
I love that one.
We do.
E.D.E, how about you?
I'm going to stick with the theme and stick with Noble Treachery since we've already discussed it. And it's
bringing that one back up because that's so cool. Yeah. That it came out in 2014. I was looking at that too. So it's not old, but I guess as far as games go, because games often die after every 2 years. So that's always fascinating. But if I ever come across this game in any of my board game places, I'm going to play.
I know I should be promoting. There's so many good new games coming up, but you know about all those.
Exactly. Tell us the old ones you've had fun with.
And it's very, very wonderful thing. So
yeah, no, absolutely worth it. Marie, favorite footwear to wear at a convention? Flip flops, Crocs, sneakers.
It's going to probably be sneakers, but if I get something with a little heel that's kind of cute and maybe pink and sparkly, that's going to be it.
You're so brave.
I'll probably switch my shoes out over the day.
Yes.
Don't judge me. It's who I am inside.
Oh my gosh. Live your best. I just worry about your foot support.
Oh, don't worry. They will be well supported. Nothing cheap on these feet because they're weak little feet.
Oh my goodness. E.D.E, how about you? Combat boots?
My shoes are, thank you. That's a compliment. But no, my shoes are always flat. Always. I have back issues. They're always flat. But I try to make sure that they're, especially at a convention, that they're at least glittery or puffy or rainbowy. Yes. So I've got some,
Gotta have some flair.
Yeah.
It is a necessity.
Nice.
Marie, have you ever volunteered at a convention?
Yes, I am co-chair to one, and it is all volunteer work. I'm the co-chair of CanCon. Well, I don't think I actually mentioned I was the co-chair in the takeover, but I am the co-chair of CanCon. So I take care of the corporate side with an amazing team of amazing people, and that's all I'm doing. And I help out here and there with other stuff, but that's my big one because It's
that's
big.
so cool.
Yeah, and it's
but
fun.
You also
And I
know, like, volunteers are so important and they're so crucial for a convention.
They are. They make life or death. It's not even. I'm not even exaggerating. They're life or death for a convention. So all volunteers are amazing, including yourself for volunteer here. So thank you.
Yes. What about you, E.D.E? Ever volunteer?
I actually, it's a little different, but I ran programming for Confusion the last 2 events.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
Yes.
That absolutely counts. That is
I know it does. It's like a discount on the ticket, but that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine. Oh my goodness. That's incredible. You seem to have a very analytical brain. I mean, you're an editor, like all the works that you've done, you're very good at handling the things that involve a lot of data.
I had a lot of years of engineering school.
There it is. Yep. There's the connector.
Fantasy and engineering have this going on at times.
It's wild, but I see it.
Former engineers.
Okay.
It's a thing.
Oh, I love that. Marie, do you decorate your lanyard or your badge? And if so, with what?
If I find buttons, those buttons are mine. Pins, buttons, I love them, but not as long as it gets so heavy, because I usually have necklaces too that complement the lanyards.
Ooh, I like that combo.
Mm-hmm. And I also bring my own lanyard often, like this Skeletor lanyard that I've been waiting to pull out. So
what the heck? That's delightfully dorky.
Thank you.
Oh, that is so cool. Emily, how about you?
I have I have a little shiny bag full of the little lanyards that I've collected at the various cons. And if they give me one that I don't like the color or it doesn't match my vibe or my look, like our theme is orange. I'm like, I'm not wearing an orange lanyard. I sneak over, get the purple one out. And yes. So it's true.
So perfect.
Ask to see it sometime. I've got a whole pouch of different colors,
I'm going to be the one asking because that is wild to me, but I'm so supportive of that. That's valid. You want things to match and you want it to look good.
Yeah, I'm sorry that your theme is army green, but I'm not wearing it.
It's not going to go with my fuchsia pink. Come on.
Yeah. Respect.
What does a dream panel look like for you? And what would be the topic of conversation?
For me, a dream panel would be the conversation flows well. Everyone gets the chance to express themselves and everyone just there's not that silence, that long awkward silence if nobody wants to answer.
The moderator sitting there
right. And the audience, you can feel the audience's energy as part of it. So they're into it. And, any topic of conversation that has that vibe, whether it's work-life balance, writing, publishing, Skeletor, anything like that, that's joy to me. That's perfect for me.
I like that answer. That's the purest answer I've ever got. It's usually I want a panel about combat or somebody. I think it was Cat Rambo, and they gave me the best answer. They wanted a panel about how to sign or handle contracts.
Oh,
and it
important.
Oh my God, as somebody who signs contracts and doesn't often read them top to bottom, as soon as they said that, I was I need that panel. I didn't know how badly that suggestion was crucial, but that kind of panel would be incredible. And that's the kind of conversation and topics that you don't really think of.
It's true.
That's what you get when you ask someone that runs the Rambo Academy, because they know what we don't know.
It's true.
Oh my goodness. What about you, Emily? Dream panel of people or dream questions on your panel?
My mind kind of goes, and I do this a lot, frankly, because I'm always trying to achieve my dream. I really like talking about quiet fiction. I'm a quiet fantasy writer. I like talking about things that are thoughtful, but that's, everyone's expecting that. So I'm going to answer differently and say that actually, especially this Confusion this year it happened. It was not supposed to happen at the peak of the surge. It did. Everybody was actually very respectful, very careful, but it was hard. It was a hard event. It was limited and it was very difficult. And I ran a microfiction panel and we just shared people from the audience and people that you wouldn't expect, people that came in and said, I'm just here to listen. And we respect that. And that's okay. Well, we'll call on you. And then 20 minutes later, they're like, can I please read a story I wrote?
Oh my gosh.
And it just it was something I needed at that time. It reminded me about writing for all of us. We're all writers in our own way. How much we need that, how much we need, and not to be the best writer, just to write, to express ourselves and to say, we had this fun little theme and I wrote these 2 lines, or I wrote a little joke, or and to have the rest of the room clap and say, I heard your words and they made me laugh. And I just felt like everybody left that room just, in our bubbles and shields or whatever, just glowing. Like I forgot what it was like to share words with people. And it was kind of a dream for me.
Yeah. Dang, you've accomplished your dreams.
I have to remind myself that I think in a lot of ways I have. Really.
Oh my goodness, yes. No, that absolutely, you get a pat on the shoulder for that, because that is marvelous. Holy heck, I love that. And again, to be a part of that and to like witness the impact that has on people, I love those moments. So that's beautiful. This was kind of answered, but I have to ask it again. What is one thing that you have to buy every time you go to a gaming convention? Because like I'm the dice goblin. We might all be various forms of dice goblins, but is there anything else?
I mean, personally, I usually buy a piece of jewelry. That's
cool. Nobody's ever answered that.
Oh, really? Like this one I got at Confusion in 2019.
Oh, I love it.
I don't think I'm wearing any other jewelry that I bought at cons, but yeah, I have some with dice because I love dice too. I've got some dice necklaces. I like a piece of jewelry because then I get to wear a little piece of the con with me, and it's a pick-me-upper on certain days. It reminds me of the wonderful memories. I have the same
answer though, because I was going to do dice.
Yes!
But I'll be more specific, so I'm not just copying. I like to look for the chainmail people, like the good, the custom.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of, I'm not disrespecting any chainmail, but the people that do the really custom, interesting, nobody else has this piece of chainmail look. Yeah. And when I find one of those, I'm like, oh, please buy my book so I can buy more chainmail.
Yes.
It's like, I have a whole, if you ever see me at a con, I'll have, I wasn't going to show my arms, so I only have this one on today.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
That's so pretty, though.
You know what? And so, but I have all these other, bracelets and chainmail things, and they do. It's just like Marie said. I remember if you said, "Where'd you get that one?" I'd say, "Oh, I got this at Gen Con, or I got this at Origins, or I got so there was a vendor, and it's special."
Mm-hmm. That is so incredible. Well, thank you, you two. You two have been absolutely fantastic. And one more time, where can folks find and support you? Marie.
For me, find me on Twitter and on Facebook. I have a page. You can also find me on my profile. Just let me know where you heard me. And I have my website, www.mariebilodeau.com, as my name is written. And I'm also actually on Instagram as Glitterbomb Bilodeau. And I just got small kittens. They're very small.
And you didn't bring them on stream, all of them?
No, they're sleeping and they're bad when they're awake. So I have two of them, and there are pictures on Twitter right now. So you just come along for the journey of the smalls, because they will grow, and there are lots of videos and pictures already.
Yes. And
also books.
The main thing, but yeah. We're here for the cats. Stay for the books.
Exactly.
E.D.E, where can folks find and support you?
So I have the two websites for me and the press, and I will say that I'm very proud of, like, on my website, all the little social media are these little cute, and I have to thank Chris for making them for me, but these little cute icons that you can hover over, and I just find I like cute things. I will not deny this. And but you can go to all that, you can see where I'm at on all the different socials. So the one is E.D.E Bell, EDEBELL.com, and the other is athisarts.com, which is ATTHISARTS.com, and all the links are on those two pages.
Fabulous. Thank you two so much for being here, for talking about the Authors Alcove and the Origins Anthology. We have a lot to look forward to. For folks that might have missed us at the beginning, we are still looking for volunteers. There are so many perks for volunteering. I can't even list every single one of them. If you check out our website, it is listed in a beautiful little chart that will let you know how many hours you volunteer, what you can acquire as a result of your kindness and the hard work that you do. Hotel block is open. If you haven't secured a place, get one now so you can sleep in a bed or sleep wherever you'd like. I'm not your boss. VIG tickets are also available. It's a very important gamer, sponsored by Arcane Wonders. We have lots of amazing sponsors that I'm just going to drop right now. So Arcane Wonders for the VIG premiere. We have some VIG swag bag sponsors, Catan and the OP. Peyton Take is sponsored by World Games, Reaper Miniatures, and Restoration Games. Our costume contest will be sponsored by Dasu Dragon. And I am just thrilled for the guests that I've spoken to, for the events that there's going to be. This Origins Game Fair is going to be amazing. So thank you, Marie and E.D.E, and we will see you on another episode of Origins Spotlight. Bye.